Hello there, a warm welcome to the last episode of Monday Mornings. I'm Addison Yataran. The top stories: closed circuit television or CCTV footage from the Gam Nok house has revealed that police officers attending the dinner on the day a highway police officer was shot dead made false statement, say Deputy National Police Chief Police General Surachate Hakparn. In politics, Prime Minister Srettha came out to quell criticism against the government's decision to switch from monthly to fortnightly salary payments for the government officials. And in world news, we have the extreme weather in Libya and in Indonesia. In Libya, nearly a week after devastating floods hit eastern part of the country, bodies are still washing up on the shores or decaying under the rubble. And Indonesia is facing the drought, which pushed thousands of people face food shortages. But first, we have the starting point in your world in just 1 minute. Police General Surachate Hakparn has admitted that police officers lied about the incident at Gam Nok's house.
ปืนมีทั้งตำรวจและมีทั้งคนนอกนะครับเดี๋ยวอันนี้เป็นรายละเอียดที่ปรากฏตามภาพที่ปรากฏเห็นเนี่ยนะครับกับที่เขาให้การเนี่ยมันขัดแย้งกันอันนี้อย่างนี้ก่อนนะครับ
Thailand's Prime Minister Srettha said that fortnightly salary payments for the government officials is the alternative.
จริงๆแล้วเนี่ยมีบางท่านบอกว่าเป็นเรื่องของกระแสเงินสดรัฐบาลมีปัญหาไม่ใช่เลยนะครับเราจ่ายเร็วขึ้นนะครับเราจ่ายวันที่15ใช่ไหมจ่ายทุกๆครึ่งเดือนแล้วก็จ่ายปลายเดือนผมเรียนไปแล้วเมื่อกี้นี้ก็เป็นทางเลือกไม่ปรับครับแบ่งจ่าย2 หนหรือจะจ่ายคนเดียวก็ได้เป็นทางเลือกเป็นทางเลือกที่ดีถ้าใครไม่ชอบก็ใช้อย่างเดียวก็ได้
ผัดกระเพรา secure the best stir fries in the world
โดยอันดับหนึ่งเป็นเมนูผัดกระเพราของประเทศไทยพร้อมระบุไว้ว่าเมนูผัดกระเพราเป็นอาหารประเภทผักมักเสิร์ฟพร้อมข้าวไข่ดาวและน้ำปลาเป็นเครื่องเคียง
All these on Monday mornings.
This program is made possible by the Department of Foreign Languages and listeners like you. Thank you.
Hello again. We begin the program with the news that shocked the nation in Nakhon where a police officer was shot dead at Gam Nok house. Closed-circuit television or CCTV footage from the Gam Nok house has revealed that police officers attending the dinner on the day a highway police officer was shot dead made false statement, said Deputy National Police Chief Police General Surachate Hakparn. There are a total of 15 CCTV cameras installed in the house of the sub-district chief and businessman or Pol.Gen aka Gam Nok, and 13 servers have been fully recovered, providing a clear visual and audio record of events before and after the incident. A highway police officer was fatally shot by a close aide of Gam Nok on the 6th of September while attending a dinner party at Gam Nok's house in Nakhon province. These recordings have exposed who lied about providing assistance to the injured and failed to help. The remaining 2 CCTV cameras are currently under review, and it is expected that by this afternoon, all footage will be available, Police General Surachate said. However, the details about specific individuals' actions cannot be revealed at this time as it relates to the ongoing investigation. At this point, it is clear that everyone involved has conflicting accounts of the incident. The evidence shows almost all of the police officers and people at the dinner party carried guns, with each individual fleeing after the initial gunshots were fired. No one attempted to intervene. While the shooter has been identified as Mr. Nong, it remains to be seen whether the order to shoot came from Gam Nok. This will depend on the analysis of the remaining 2 CCTV cameras. Currently, the key focus is to trace money trail of the sub-district chief and to look into his road construction and trucking businesses, whether he was involved in unlawful conduct including bid rigging and overloaded truck bribery. If any wrongdoing is discovered, it will lead to money laundering charges and asset seizures. We move to the politics. Thailand's Prime Minister Srettha came out to quell criticism against the government's decision to switch from monthly to fortnightly salary payments for government officials, saying that the change is now optional. He said that the Comptroller General's Department, which is responsible for disbursing salaries, will offer civil servants the choice of receiving their salary in 2 installments or in a single payment as they do currently. Srettha also denied that the new adjustment is related to the government's liquidity problems. As for a proposal to increase civil servant salary, Srettha said that it is a long-term plan that must be considered comprehensively, taking into account both retirees and new entrants to the civil service. And in economy, Thailand's Prime Minister and Finance Minister Srettha on Thursday decided to increase the budget allocation for the 2024 fiscal year to 3.48 trillion baht, up from the original 3.35 trillion baht, or an increase of 130 billion baht. The decision took place at a meeting between the Prime Minister, the Ministry of Finance, the Budget Bureau, the National Economic and Social Development Council, and the Bank of Thailand. The adjustment aligns with the medium-term plan of the government, which was approved by the Cabinet on September 13th. The Budget Bureau Director, Chalermpol Pensut, said the increase of 130 billion Thai baht in the budget allocation is in response to the projected increase in the country's revenue of 30 billion Thai baht. In our news wrap today, what was Hurricane Lee is now a post-tropical cyclone that made landfall on Nova Scotia western coastline. The storm grazed Niuling and lashing it with heavy rains and strong winds and high surf and large swells and choppy seas. Hundreds of thousands of people are without power in the United States and Canada, whereas falling trees and tree limbs took out power lines. The storm is forecast to weaken tomorrow as it moves inland over Canada and diminish on Monday. Negotiators for the UAW were back at the bargaining table today, one day after thousands of auto workers struck the plants in Missouri, Ohio, and Michigan. Ford is blaming the strike for 600 layoffs. General manager said he could begin laying off thousands next week. The UAW president said the layoffs won't work. In Libya, Libyan government is investigating the collapse of the 2 dams that killed more than 11,000 people this week. 6 days later, rescue teams are still searching for bodies. There are estimates that more than 10,000 people are still missing. The details after the news summary. And North Korean leader Kim Jong-un made a stop today at the Russian port city of Vladivostok, 100 miles from the North Korean border. As part of his visit to pressure that including a meeting with Vladimir Putin, Kim invested Russian weapons including hypersonic missiles and bombers capable of delivering a nuclear warhead. The visit has raised Western concerns about a Russian-North Korean arms deal. And now it's time for the weather update from Al Jazeera.
Hello, it has been hot in Eastern Australia. Good to have you along. So let's paint the colors on the map here. Darker the red, the higher the temperature. This is record-breaking stuff. Never before has it been this hot in Sydney. In September, we closed in on 35 degrees. I want to peel out, give you a wider look right now, talk about what's going on. A hot, dry wind blowing down from the interior. That's what's pumping up temperatures here. And the heat is here to stick around. Several days of temperatures 30 degrees and above, but those winds really ramping up on Wednesday, gusts about 50 kilometers per hour, and then temperatures will fall off on Thursday, closer to where you should be for this time of the year. Off to New Zealand, and still active weather as we look toward the South Island. We've got a fairly persistent breeze here. And as we head now to Indochina, pulses of rain still to be found in this neck of the woods. And for China, we look at the situation here. Some showers and storms have dropped temperatures along the western Yangtze River Valley. So Chongqing is down to 30 degrees. And we've had some record-breaking late-season heat for Kyoto. 36.4. Never before has it been this hot this late in the year. Still hanging on to temperatures in the 30s, so 33 for Tokyo on Monday. That's a snapshot of your weather.
Word of the Day is presented by the Department of Foreign Languages.
นำเสนอโดยกลุ่มสาระการเรียนรู้ภาษาต่างประเทศ
คำศัพท์วันนี้เสนอคำว่า cabinet สะกด C A B I N E T อ่านว่า cabinet แปลว่าคณะรัฐมนตรีตัวอย่างประโยค Prime Minister attended a special cabinet meeting Wednesday นายกรัฐมนตรีเข้าร่วมการประชุมคณะรัฐมนตรีนัดพิเศษเมื่อวันพุธI am สรวิทย์ อุสมศรี for Monday morning
Welcome back to Monday Mornings. I'm Edison Yantra. Let's recap the top stories. Closed-circuit television or CCTV footage from the Gamnan Nok house has revealed that police officers attending the dinner on the day a highway police officer was shot dead made false statement. Thailand's Prime Minister Srettha came out to quell criticism against the government's decision to switch from monthly to fortnightly salary payments for the government officials. And hundreds of thousands of people are without power in the United States and Canada, where falling trees and tree limbs took out power lines as this Hurricane Lee swept through the area. Moving on to our world news. Nearly a week after devastating floods hit eastern Libya, bodies are still washing up on the shores or decaying under rubble. Authorities are overwhelmed by the extent of the destruction. International aid agencies have promised help, but much of it has yet to arrive in the hardest-hit port city of Derna, where thousands are feared dead. The World Health Organization, or WHO, has described the situation as a disaster of epic proportions. Al Jazeera's Rasul Srettha reports from Tripoli.
As the scale of destruction in Derna becomes clear, bodies are still being found in the mud. Flood-ravaged Derna is the epicenter of the disaster, caused by a powerful storm that burst two dams nearly a week ago. It swept multi-story buildings into the sea with sleeping families inside. But it wasn't just Derna. People were also washed away by torrents in Susa, another coastal town. The aftermath is devastating in the towns of Al-Bayda, Al-Marj, and several others in eastern Libya. The floods have killed thousands of people and displaced more than 30,000. The frantic rescue efforts are still on the way, but for those who survived, there is now a risk of another disaster. Local officials say decomposing bodies pose a health risk and can lead to waterborne diseases. They are now working on a complete or partial evacuation of the city of Derna. Libya has had two rival governments since its revolution, one in Tripoli in the east and the other in the west. Many people in disaster-hit areas accuse the authorities of negligence, believing the collapse of dams could have been avoided. An official from Tripoli has promised a comprehensive investigation.
The investigation will involve local authorities and officials of successive governments for any negligence or omission. Carrying out due inspections and determining the cause of death of victims represents critical factors not only for restoring the rights of those victims, but also establishing the responsibility for any negligence or fault. Firm and harsh measures will be taken in this respect.
Thousands of survivors are pinning their hopes on foreign aid in politically divided Libya. People here are desperate to get medicines, surgery supplies, food, shelter, and body bags for the burial of the deceased. And Libyans hope they will arrive before it's too late. Rasul Serdar, Al Jazeera, Tripoli.
Large parts of Indonesia are in the grip of a prolonged drought, with the onset of the El Niño weather pattern crippling farms and draining water supplies. This year's dry season is expected to be the most severe since 2019, with thousands of people facing food shortages as a result. Al Jazeera's Sarah Clark reports.
It's been 4 long, hot months since the East Nusa Tenggara region has seen rain. These once fertile rice fields are now terraces of parched dirt. Thousands of hectares in the Prabakul village in the East Sumba district have been destroyed by drought.
The rain stopped in May this year. We haven't been able to plant anything since then. We need help from the government. We have to ration our food because the rice that we have is not enough to consume like on normal days.
Residents are also struggling to access clean water. With catchments and rivers reduced to a trickle, they have no choice but to walk kilometres to the nearest riverbed, then take supplies back to their village to drink, wash and irrigate their dying crops.
I'm worried the drought will continue for a long time. How are we going to live? How do I feed my family?
It's a reality acknowledged by Indonesian authorities, who warned that the El Niño, which brings prolonged hot and dry weather, is now affecting more than 2/3 of Indonesia. The impact is expected to peak in the last week of September, with an even greater risk of water shortages, forest fires and crop failure.
To anticipate El Niño, we have tried to add more rice reserves. We have sourced rice from other areas like West Nusa Tenggara and Java Island, as well as importing from other countries.
The region is a big producer of palm oil, rice and coffee beans. This year, due to the exacerbated heat and the prolonged drought, farmers have struggled to produce a crop.
We need more than 30,000 tonnes of rice for all the people living in the East Sumba region for a year. We are usually able to provide rice from our own farmers' fields, but this year we weren't able to do it.
With these conditions expected to continue into October, the President Joko Widodo has instructed regional governments to set aside funds to aid those worst hit. Sarah Clark, Al Jazeera.
Thank you very much for listening to Monday Mornings for the entire semester. The program is designed to boost students' awareness to use English to catch the latest news from across the nation and around the world, and we aim to create the learning environment to listen to English. And our team personnel, we have ภูมิระพีคำสม บวรรัตน์ อ้นกระโทก บุษกร ทองอาราม อารวิน คล้ายท่าโรง They tried their best to provide you the latest news. They practiced so hard that you can listen to the program every week. Next semester, we have the new program that contains lots of information about culture from different countries around the world. Above all these, it is so good to be here with you every week. I'm not going to say goodbye, but I will say see you very soon.